right. It looks like we're live. I think we are. I think we are. The heck is going on here? Okay, I think we're live. Hopefully we are. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's been a while. And the funny thing is, the first video that I come out with is not related to sports at all. But it's fine. It's fine. I got some things that are going on. Welcome everybody that may be coming out here to the live stream. I doubt this is going to be a popular topic. Plus, whether we're going to be talking about things here or not, you know, people come out for different things. So they came here for the sports. There were people that voted that we talk about different things on the continent and the diaspora. So I am coming up with that topic. I said I was going to do it by the end of the summer. There's some things here that I got to do. I still got to do that points that I said I was going to give out to the people for their prediction on Dina Asher Smith. So we got that coming. So without further ado, don't forget that you are listening to Head and Shoulders ATR. But this is a Let's Improve Africa discussion here. So it's hosted here on Head and Shoulders ATR. But this is about Africa. Let's Improve Africa. That group right there. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. There are a lot of people that are studying black people. Okay? Everybody is studying black people. All right? Everybody is studying black people, whether that's in the U.S., whether that's in the Caribbean, whether that is in the U.K., whether that is on the continent. Black people are being studied by everybody else. Because when you look down at who's leading this, the people that are, forget the CEOs. Forget that. Forget Google and IFC, whatever that is. Look at who's leading the charge here. When you go through these links here, we're going to go over that in a second. You'll see who's studying that. So it says Africa's $180 billion internet economy future. That's what we're going to break down today. Now, I have a video that I recorded. I'm not going to go over the same topics here. We're talking about how to become a millionaire with this right here. And essentially, there's $65 billion extra dollars coming in here to Africa online. So if you're sitting in the Caribbean, if you're sitting in the U.S., you're on the continent. We got people all over the place that listen to this in Australia. We got black and non-black people that listen to this channel. Wherever you are, this is online, okay? 65 billion extra dollars are sitting online between 2020 and 2025, and you can get $1 million plus with this information right here. So we're gonna go over this and do a light speed right here. If you're there, give a shout out in the live stream chat. I know we got people coming in and out, but let's go ahead and do that. Now, we got 1.3 billion people according 2019. 2.5 billion are projected. So an extra 1.2 billion by 2050. The digital connectivity is 40% in 2019. That's going to be going up. We already know. Urbanization. Almost half of all the people living on the continent will be in a city, essentially. 45%. And we already know that in certain areas like Nigeria, I think it's, I know Nigeria, they're saying that 80% are going to be there. I know this seems a little boring, but we got to go over these details here. I didn't read all of this, so you don't have to go over it, but you should still go over it anyway. So, 700,000 in tech, the developers there. Oh yeah, matter of fact, let me make sure while I'm here that I can listen to myself. So let me go here and do a sound check, because some people will come in, they won't tell me. If you guys are here in the live stream, tell me if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Matter of fact, I'll ask that in the chat here. Can you guys hear me? That's what I like to know. Can you guys hear me? Because sometimes people will come in and they'll go out, but then they won't be able to hear anything. And let me see here before I continue going. Let's see. Make sure I can hear myself. Let's keep talking here. Can I hear myself now? All right, come on, hurry up. Okay, there we go. You said you can hear me. Shout out to you, Marshante Gordon. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, and I can hear myself on my end. So everything's going pretty good. So with that being said, shout out to everybody that's listening to this either live or in the recording. I know it's pretty early for some people, but here we go. So they got a lot of regulations that are there. We're going to summarize this. So 180 billion. In 2020, it was only 110 billion. That's 5.2% of the continent's GDP. Okay. 2050. I know some people are like, wait a minute, 2050. Look, 30 years are going to go by like that. Okay. It's either you're going to, assuming you're alive at that time, either you could take advantage, and on the way up to it, you could take advantage of this. Or you could just say, that's 30 years. I don't want to plan it. Even though China has a 200-year plan, the white supremacists have had a 500-year, 400 something, but 500-year plan for us. And they're trying to stabilize the next 500 years. I'm going to let you stay where you're at. And the people that want to take advantage of this, 712 billion US dollars that will be growing online by that point in 2050. There you go. So let's look at the press release. What can you do? Let's give you an example of what can you do with this. So here's 115 billion, 180. Now $65 billion is not getting distributed evenly. That's why you can make $1 million. How do you do that? One thing you can do is you can go into the crypto field, because as we can look at this press release down here, it's getting mostly put into fintech, and where was that at? Shoot, I know I have that information. It's fintech and another area. That's where most of it's going. But let's say that you want to sell a laptop, okay? And it's in these areas I always bring up when I talk about these topics. Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, and there's one other, right? But here's Lagos, Nairobi, and Johannesburg, okay? Now, looking at these places, let's say you wanted to sell laptops. You don't have to physically buy the laptops. You could do affiliate marketing. You can send somebody to Jumia, right? Or Amazon or Alibaba. They have those on the continent. So if you're going to do that, you might have a whole website. I'm giving you an idea right here. Hope you're taking notes. So you can have an entire website that's dedicated toward selling laptops. You can get keywords. I used to do SEO marketing, and now I'm starting to do that with my other stuff. So if anybody's interested in looking at that, it's cryptochatafrica.com. You can go ahead and check that out. I decided to more recently take it more seriously. You're going to see some things like that here, because we're going to put other people's businesses on. We're going to talk about track and field, other sports, and everything like that. I'm always doing the work. All right. If you don't see me here, always doing the work. So let's say you say, and I'm going to bring it up here on the screen. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to look up right here. So let's do this quick search right here. Cities near Johannesburg, Alberton, South Africa. Okay, let's do this. Let's bring this up on the screen so that you guys can see this. Let's bring this up on the screen so that you guys can see this. Hopefully you guys can. So it's the cities near Johannesburg, right? So we got Alberton, Sandton, Germiston, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, if we were to say the population size of cities in South Africa. Okay. If we were to do this search as well. Okay. I lost a tab for you guys. Here we go. If we do the population size of that right here of cities, let's look at this. These are the largest. This is on Statista. Right here. Okay, Johannesburg, 2 million. All right, 2 million. Now, obviously, we have a smaller city that's near Johannesburg, Alberton, Sandton, and all of these. Now, if you wanted to sell laptops there, you can use and sell to Johannesburg, by selling to these cities here. So let's just say that a keyword was fast. And I already looked at this information. I'm summarizing it for you guys to keep it 30 to 45 minutes. There are laptops that sell by the hotcakes in South Africa. This is why I'm picking this topic. So if you were to say, hey, I'm going to sell there, you get an affiliate link and you can send it over to, let's say, Jumia and say, okay, Alberton fast laptops. Okay, fast laptops in Alberton, because those are different ones. Hot, fast laptops. And what I would tell you guys to go for the more expensive. You want to go for the more expensive market. Why do you go for the higher end? When I looked at the South African rand and I did it and transferred it to US dollars, it looked like about 350 US dollars was the higher end prices. And I still think that's a midpoint for the laptops. But okay, so if we were to say we're going for that, because if you want to sell pillows, you're not going to sell a $5 pillow. I would go for selling the more luxury pillows. That's what the farmers have done in Africa when they did that bad marketing. When they said, oh, coconut oil is not as good as vegetable oil, because they wanted to just cut off the Africans from being able to sell all of the local products. So what did the farmers have to do? They had to go for the higher end type of things. And there's a reason why you go for the higher end. If a person can afford to do that in general, that means they have more disposable income. You can sell fewer and still make money. I've done that with my crypto groups as well. Right? And then you expand to the market where it's the wide scale approach, because you will be working harder. I mean, just think about it. You're working just as hard, but then you could provide a luxury product. So let's say, again, the laptops. You say Alberton efficient laptops, right? Santon efficient laptops. You're now competing against a smaller audience, because everybody's going after these cities in South Africa. Everybody's gonna go for these, right? They got all of the big ones. Cape Town, of course. You look at the suburbs around there. Like when I was selling some SEO for people, I was doing a website with someone with dresses. Everybody's targeting Chicago. Of course they're gonna target Chicago. But why don't we go for the suburbs? Why don't you get that little small one? Now, when you try to build things up, yeah, of course. But then you can write about Chicago there as well. So you can have Chicago fast laptops or best dresses, right? Then you create a slightly new keyword. You get the less popular ones so that you can rank #1 in those. They might only get 100 hits per week or per month. Hey, 100 hits here, 100 hits on that one, 250, and then you get all those keywords and your site starts to rank up for those, and then those start to add up, right? But in the middle of that, you're going for the million plus that the Johannesburgs will bring in, that the Durbans will bring in Cape Town. So when you're starting to fight for those keywords of people searching online, you're already ranked up in the other ones. Then Google, Bing, Yahoo, they're going to say, wow, this person is popular in these. We're going to rank them a little bit higher up in the main one, because they're controlling and dominating these smaller keywords for these smaller towns. The smaller keywords one, and then the main keyword for the bigger one. People were paying me good money to do the SEO for them. So, okay, there you go. Another thing is you could be the SEO person for those people doing those websites. Okay? You could make $1 million with that as well. You could be the SEO person. Hey, you come up to some company, because as I just looked, here's a full report. I just went over this report not too long ago. Okay, this is 98 pages of good information, which really means it's 85 because the references and title and everything. This is talking about starting a business in Africa. And this is the video I'll upload to you guys in a little bit. But I want to show this. I want to show this because many people do not realize this at all. Many people don't realize this one at all. Where is it? Where is it? Come on, scroll up. Hurry up, computer. Okay, I'll do it this way. 700. Here it is, right here on page 9. Okay, there are 400 companies operating on the continent in Africa. that have an annual revenue of over 1 billion US dollars. An additional 700 businesses earn at least half of that. So 500 million and above. So you could be the SEO. Hey, there's 65 billion extra US dollars coming in the next few years. At this point, it's probably about 37 to 35 because we're halfway there. It's not equally proportional, right? But just rounding it here. So there's an extra 37 billion and you tell them, hey, I can increase your revenue by 5%. If you can do that with SEO, and then they're a company that's doing 1 billion, hey, if I can get you an extra 5% on a billion, let's do this math with the calculator because I don't want to be wrong here. Let's do this math. Maybe the $1 billion one won't work with you. Maybe you can get a $10 million one, right? Let's say 10 million, you increase them by about 5%. That's 500,000. You tell them, hey, look, you just want 20% of that, right? You want 10% of what they're already bringing in. Or not 10% of what they're bringing in. You're just getting 1% of what they bring in. That's 100,000. You do that with enough companies and you get their SEO up, then you're bringing in 100,000. Here you got to work with 10 companies. That's $1 million right there. And if you don't see it, here's the math right there. I did some other math with some things here. This right here was talking about the middle class because they define middle class in Africa as spendable money of $4, spending power, purchasing power of $4 to $20 per day. That was the middle class definition there. That's why I did the math here. So it's 120 to 600 US dollars per month. Then this is $400 million spent per day on the continent. Okay, I got my logo there. I don't know why I just made everything smaller. Give me a second, guys. The heck just happened here? I think it just shut down my browser. Hold on a second. That was very strange. Okay, here we go. We're back in action. So anyway, so those are things that we're looking at. So if you're looking at the money here, it's SEO, do the affiliate marketing. Those are two different avenues. Here's another one. Let's bring this tab back up here. Okay, my computer just went wonky for a second. So those are two right there. SEO, you can do that. See, for the little SEO, you're thinking like what I did when I was first doing it. Okay, I'm going to charge $700. I'm going to charge $1,500. When you do these specialized services like that, you're charging people for the value, not per hour. Okay, you're charging them for the value. You know when a locksmith comes up and they charge you what you think is a high price and it only took them a few seconds to unlock your car door or your door for your house, right? You didn't realize that. How many years did it take them to learn that ability to do it just like that? How many years did it take them the ability to learn how to do it in 10 minutes? It took them a long time. So you're paying them for their expertise, their value, not what they did in an hour. So when you're doing creative fields, when you're doing fields like that, you can go for a small mom and pop and you provide that service and it's cheaper for them than it is for a bigger business. So you say, hey, look, a mom and pop, they're doing 10,000 per year or something like that. Okay, I'm just going to charge them by proportion the same thing. You would be charging them by proportion $100 if you did that. $100 versus 10 million a year, you'll be charging them 100,000, right? Because every year they're going to still benefit from that 500,000 that they got. See, they still got a difference of 400,000 on top of you. But for the mom and pop, if you only did 5%, they got 500 extra dollars. Now that's still extra money, but they won't be able to literally afford more. You see that? See, some people think you do SEO, graphic design, and you're only going to charge everybody the exact, okay, I'm just scraping up, so I just need to charge them. Okay, what do you do by hour? Okay, I just charge you 45. Can you do 45? Well, see, I don't know if I could pay you 45 for a logo. And, hey, look, that's how people do when they first start. And they just trying to get the business out, right? They're like, okay, what can you do? 25. Okay, I'll do 25. And then from there, you're like, okay, 25, 25, 25. That's what you're trying to charge people. Okay, well, we could do 25 to 50. When somebody hears that, they just gonna go to 25. The price is the price. You walk away. But in the beginning, you're trying to get your skills up. You're trying to get the experience and everything. Or you could take the other approach and go for the big dog. Or you could look at it like, okay, maybe I'm gonna do this school project with this graphic design, SEO. We're still sticking on this million. I'm just giving you an example and I'm almost finished. Or you could say, we're going to do this project for Johannesburg, the university down there. And you're going to look at it like, I'm doing a paid ad for myself. I'm not doing this for experience. I am actually paying for an ad because I should be paid X, Y, and Z. Because this is making the university look good. This is making Trike look good, Adidas look good, or any of these companies if you were to do that. Because you're doing a whole hell of a lot of discount when you're a university student. Just because you're a university student don't mean anything. You still got the skills if you built them up. So when you do that, you're like, I'm going to do this festival here where 100,000 people are going to look at it. Or I'm going to do this big one so that I have the name of the university that's internationally known behind me. I got this company, this shoe company that I just did kind of sort of a work for as a student. Now I got them on my resume, on my CV. Now I can go forward with the next job. And now I can charge what I should be charging for these bigger companies. Because if you're doing mom and pops, you go up to like Trike or all these shoe companies, right? If you go up to them and you say, hey, Nike, I want to do this. They're going to be like, what's your experience? Your experience is these small ones. You can't command power. But if you even voluntarily or took a huge pay cut to do something else, you've paid for yourself. You got to think of it that way. So now we went through SEO. We went through affiliate marketing. Now let's just say neither one of those require you to have a product yourself. You can do this from anywhere on the planet. But I want y'all to stay focused on this. There is $180 billion that's going to be circulating online. 5.2% of the GDP of Africa, which means it's a lot of physical products. When you get that, maybe you want to hire some people to do a physical product for you. That's up to you. But because if that's only 5%, just imagine the rest of it. But if you can get, let's do this again. If you can get, what is that? Because all I want is 10% of 1%. I want 10% of 1%. That's 1,000ths, right? Y'all know how that is in time. I just want, because that's how small it is that somebody can lean at the line, and that's the difference between somebody getting first or second. That still, with the remaining number left over, is 370 million US dollars. 10% of 1%. That's all I would like to get. So if you guys want to get even less than that and become a millionaire, here's the next thing. SEO, affiliate marketing. Now, this one requires you to spend some money. Let's say that you did your own website. You're going to fund people that are there and you hire them. You have your website and you start to do farming because agriculture is growing off like hotcakes. So now you're looking at farms. This will require you to fly out because a lot of people try to scam you out. So you got to fly out. This is going to require you to use your money here. The other two, you didn't need to do any, you didn't even need to go from your couch or wherever you're at right now listening to this. You could do it from there. You could do it in an airport. This one requires, and I would suggest until you build up a framework and a trusted network of people. That's what I'm doing now. So if you guys want to check that out, we got that Let's Improve Africa group here. Matter of fact, let me leave the Telegram link right here in the live chat. You guys can go and join that Telegram group. We're trying to build that up because they deleted us. We had over 100 at that time, and we were doing 300 and 400 reach. But there you go. Join that Telegram channel. I have live streams at least every Sunday. But anyway, you have to physically go there. Get the farms. Pick something that's a good export that they're trying to do. Cocoa. Right now in West Africa, Ghana, the Gold Coast, and I think one other, the Ivory Coast. They're saying, yo, middle finger to Europe taking advantage of us. Nigeria should join them, in my opinion. But middle finger to Europe that's taking advantage of us. Switzerland, you got the Swiss chocolate. Hey, but you're doing this little Nestle stuff, selling it back to us at like 500 times the price that we sold it to you. Nah, I don't think that works. Now, you know, they had agreed just 2 or 3 years or 4 years ago. Now they went and told the European Union and said, hey, Ghana's trying to stand up for themselves. Can you come and help us boycott them? And they're trying to put sanctions on them right now. Guess what the Ivory Coast and Ghana did? They said, yeah, we're not coming to that meeting. We told you what we're doing right now. We're making an economy for ourselves and standing up for ourselves. So now you can go into cocoa and try to invest in some of these cocoa farms, right? Now that might not be as big because physical plants take a long time to grow. So maybe not in this time, within the next 3 years, can you get $1 million, but it's still going to be a pathway for you to get it. Are you guys getting me? You got cocoa that's there. You got other seeds and plants that you can invest in that in the time being, you're buying up all of this because this is what the people are doing. The Indians, they're controlling Kenya in a lot of places. Okay? All right? In Kenya, a lot of Indians are moving in and trying to control that economy there. All right? I want y'all to be aware of this. So people are buying up the continent like they're buying up Jamaica and the other Caribbean islands. Y'all need to be very, very aware of this. People will come in and they'll smile. I need y'all to watch this. It's called The Secret of Selling the Negro. The Secret of Selling the Negro. I want y'all to watch that video. It's right here. The Secret of Selling the Negro. It's on YouTube. Watch this video, and there you go. Let's get back here. So I just told you guys different pathways. Now, do you guys have any question on any of those other ways that you think you could become a millionaire? Let's have a discussion here. I presented that information. I didn't want to make it too deep and whatever like that because it's the first time I'm streaming and, you know, it's not as popular of a topic, especially when it's on a sports channel. But this is something that we need to pay attention to. Right? This is something we need to pay attention to. The 700,000 developers. You know what I did? I put some money into people learning and getting their certifications and everything in IT. I put actual money into people on the continent so that they can have time so that they can do that. Some people, as the vast majority, didn't pan out as well. But then I got a few. And then, hey, if they come in and they're under me, they like that I supported them. Even though they got free, you know, certification with Google and Apple and all of them. If they come and work for me and they update things, they're not quite there because my websites could be looking better. I just decided to put them together and everything myself. But if they come and work for me, that then comes and it's a benefit for me. And I can make extra money because I've invested in part of that 700,000 developers when they're using their GitHubs and they're working for Google, Apple, Tesla, their own startup companies, right? Guys, give me a second. My rabbit's chewing through my wall. Give me about 20 seconds. Yeah, sorry about that. We couldn't allow that our pet rabbit there to do anything. But yeah, so if you invest in people, they will then come and turn around and become a good return investment on you. So here, it says the digital economy can and should change the course of Africa's history. This is an opportune moment to tap into the power of the continent's tech startups for much needed solutions to increase access to education and healthcare and finance. And here's another opportunity here. If you go into the healthcare field, almost forgot about this. If you go into the healthcare field right here, don't forget that there's a matter of fact, I think I can show you better than I can say it. Let me see. Of course they say this. Okay. Let's bring up the World Health Organization right now. Let's bring up the World Health Organization right now. Okay, it says obesity rising in Africa. This was March 2nd, 2022. Obesity rising in Africa. The World Health Organization analysis finds that the prevalence of obesity among adults is the 10 high burden countries. In the 10 high burden countries will range from 13.6% to 31%. 31% of some countries have obese people, not fat. This is obese. Okay? Obese. So when people are saying, yeah, it's only the America, no. This is worldwide. While in children and adolescents, it ranges from 5% to 16.5%. So remember, between 31%, that means a lot more people, or an unknown amount more people, are just plain out fat. Obese is a whole different thing. Africa also faces a growing problem of overweight in children. All right. The continent was home to 24% of the world's overweight children under the age of 5. How the heck are you overweight under the age of 5? What are you feeding them? Okay. So this is an epidemic. That's what this is. It's an epidemic. I forgot what it requires to be an epidemic, but I look at these. So if you're looking at healthcare, that's another way to make some money. So I'm not going to look at the other aspect of this. I'm just going to look at the money one, because that's what this is, how to make $1 million here. Because this is actually rather sad. But we're going to look at the how we make money off of this. So you're looking at some populations. So let's just say that right here, let's just say that was including fat and obese, because it's not. But let's just say all of that was there. Some places 31%. And I would say that would be Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa. It kind of matches up with the places that are there. So it's probably those places. Right? So if you're looking at healthcare, and this is the place where they say it's increased access, what do you want to do? You might want to try to sell products to hospitals. You do the pharmaceutical sales there. Now, I'm not really big on pharmaceutical things, but I know people are going to take them anyway. Or you could do the marketing about, hey, you know what? Eat the natural plants or something. But what I found out, if you're just trying to go for money, you could come up the other side the other way. The people that make the most and that stay in business in the fitness industry are going after people already fit. You don't go after people that need to lose weight, quote, need to lose weight, because they're getting marketed, hey, you're fine just the way you are. That's how they're getting marketed. You hear that every day. It's very hard. Have you ever tried to convince yourself to do something you haven't already done? Forget the echo chamber of other people and friends that you probably have around you that you only want to listen to if they tell you something positive to reinforce your bad behavior. Have you ever tried to stop doing that? Now, try to be a gym in marketing to the people primarily. That's how you open, not how you have an addition. You should market to people already fit. So the same thing here with healthcare. What you do with healthcare, slightly different, is you can find a product to sell, and it may not even be something you own. You may hire people to work for you. I know people in the US and in Australia that do pharmaceutical sales, and they basically market to doctors. It's very, very questionable, but we talk about money here, okay? So you can hire somebody and start a company, register it wherever you are, and then register it, international laws, make sure you got everything checked, and have people work for you to do the pharmaceutical sales from hospital to hospital there on the continent. Now, because some places are less stable than others, you might want to just focus on a few key areas. Remember, go for the money first, then you could come up and do the other thing. So if it's obesity that's there, and you notice already a trend that people that are obese are eating a certain thing, then you say, okay, where in this market can I get an angle at? What's the thing that's like this thing that they're eating already? If it's not pharmaceutical, what is it that they're eating? They're eating bananas. They think bananas are the thing. Okay, can I turn apples into this? They're already eating fruit because a banana is that fruit. A plantain is that. So let me take like how they did the acai plant. They made it exotic. An acai berry or plant, whatever that is, the fruit, it's no better than an apple. So that's how you can make your million there. Finance. That's cryptocurrencies. That's the new banking thing. That's darn it, I forgot what the payment processor is. That they have right now. That's over there in Flutterwave. There we go. Flutterwave. There's so many foreign investment in Flutterwave. It'll make your head spin. That's another aspect of you being able to have that. The increased access to education. Let's take a different take on this. So I have education, but I think they're talking about education in the form of universities because that's already entrenched. But you know what else is in university? You got your online schools. You got your online education. You know, a lot of people think that education doesn't work when they go into here. Like, let's say my thing, the cryptocurrencies. Now, I just recently organized it so that people can see the information like, oh, shoot, this guy actually knows what he's talking about, right? So that is easier. Now, a lot of people think that let's say you spend $20 on a course on whatever these popular sites are. I don't sell on any of them. I sell it directly from mine. So I have that with mine. And in some cases, $5,000 and $6,000. And that's what I'm charging somebody. But let's say that you spend that. A lot of people will spend tens of thousands of US dollars at a university that isn't rightfully even giving them a lot of times skill set. Some of them, very few degrees though. But some of the degrees are giving them a skill set. But most of them, from my perspective of looking at that, aren't. And they're running a racket because they can keep upping the price because they get guaranteed government funding money. So when you're looking at that, they're spending tens of thousands of US dollars, sometimes per year, sometimes over the life of that university. But they won't spend $2,000 or $3,000 on the education materials online. Because when they get there, let's say that you go into crypto or Forex, you're going in there to learn how to, quote, trade. Now, what you don't know is you don't have organization skills, and you need to buy a course on organization skills because that'll help you get better. It is the combination of all the education together that actually makes you succeed or fail. And I had to learn that with people. It's like, okay, this person's here and I'm looking at, okay, all they got to do is this. They don't have consistency with what they're doing. They don't have commitment in what they're doing. They don't have organization skills. They don't even know how to do math very well. So what we got to do is, and what I've learned here is that, hey, maybe we put the idea that they go and also get those. They don't need to just only get what I'm providing, or we provide that. But I'm slowly now providing those other things. I have to focus on one, which is my strong point, and then I can provide the other ones on top of that. Because they come to learn cryptocurrency trading, but this person's very disorganized. They come to do that, but they are high emotions. You can't do high emotions when you're learning to trade, right? So that's what we have to focus on. That's a lot of money in this education field. There's guaranteed. So pharmaceutical, the healthcare and education, they basically are going to have government mandates of guaranteed money. If you want to make $1 million, you can go to the guaranteed money thing. Now, the thing that I'm doing is not guaranteed because I don't have like a university. I'm teaching people to trade, or they're buying signals, or not buying signals, but they're buying the group and paying for the group for signals or education. That's what they're doing. I'm not entrenched in the universities like that. But there's still so much money in runoff from the guaranteed money that it still is good. Now, I already talked about finance. Yeah, I did. I went over that healthcare and education. Okay, and ensure a more resilient recovery. Making Africa a world leader in digital innovation and beyond. Now, I went and looked up this person right here. And I said, Stephanie von Friedberg didn't sound like a black African. No offense to anybody. And I was like, well, everybody's here. Then I looked at the other people of these companies and everything. And I said, man, I don't see not a single black person from any place, whether it's U.S., the continent, the islands, the UK. I don't see a black person whatsoever. I see Indian, white, everybody else involved with this. Now, the person that's over this release of this is Dorothy Oko. Now, that one particular person, yeah, with the public affairs. But did she put together this study? And it didn't look like she did. All right. So I just want y'all to know, everybody else is looking at this and they're coming in like, all right. And if you look at the video, The Secret of Selling a Negro, they still were talking about black people like dogs. They said it. They kept using the word it. And then they put a picture of a dog in the background when they said it has 1 in 3 homes and they spend more and they're better on their credit. And then they put a dog in the background. All right, here we go with these people now. They're trying to put that stuff there. Dang, you get the little porn links even on with this few viewers? Dang. But anyway, so I think that's about it. I went over how you can do that. But definitely look at this report here. Now, this report was hidden in one other thing, and I'm going to end it here in just a second because we've been going for how long now? 41 minutes. I want this to be shorter. But this report here was hidden in this because they have this. Oh, here's another way where you can. I don't think this is going to necessarily happen because it costs a little bit more money for this. This may not happen in the next 2 years, but you could. See, you pile together with some other competent, hard-working people as well, right? That's what you can do. You can leverage your money together, and you all buy. Let's say you all put 1,000 in, 1,000 US dollars. You go buy a property over there in Nigeria, in Nairobi, or Kenya is actually. I was going to say Nairobi because that's a place I'm looking at. Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa. Those are the ones. Botswana, Uganda. You can look at places like that. Now, where is this? I'm trying to bring this up in the background. Here we go. Now, there was an article that I found this report in because I happen to be bothered to read links like that. And the studies that they have, it was from this Brookings Institute. Here it is right here. Let's go here. Let's look at this. All right. Now, this was talking about women and e-commerce in Africa. Now, the African Union are trying to focus on women and children. The same old tactic to do the gender divide that has worked so well for the rest of the world. Not. Right? Now, the men and the women on the continent, I think most people agree, is like a lot of the people aren't really doing too hot. So why would you be focusing on women and, quote, children? Like, what does that mean? What does the, quote, and children mean? But why would you be focusing on that anyway, instead of just helping everybody out? Because they said specifically, that means they're not going to have money there. They're not going to have money for the men. The men are ultimately still going to make more money. I guess that's why what they're thinking of, because that still happens in these other countries. Even with all the money that they specifically are just gearing out toward the women to try to do this gender divide thing. And I look at it just like that. People may disagree on this, but if it isn't like that, well, it has resulted in that, because the women will be doing better than the men in the 20s, and by 30, it's not even a competition anymore against any group, all races, whatever. It's not even a competition. The men blow them out of the water. Biological differences and all of these things, that results in that. But guess what this also results in? You want to make $1 million? Here's the next one. Okay. They said it's a $15 billion opportunity. It says, you can't see the full thing. I'm going to read it to you. It says, women and e-commerce in Africa, the $15 billion opportunity. Now, one person is not a black African, Alexa Roscoe, I think. And then this person is, to my knowledge, I did not click them, but their names kind of give way to that. They said, read the full chapter on African women and girls. Okay. This is where I found it. It said 180 billion. That caught my attention. Women's low access to internet. Okay, then it says Women are active participants in e-commerce. Women own between 1/3 in Cote d'Ivoire, or the Ivory Coast. I didn't pronounce that one at all well. And just over half in Kenya and Nigeria of companies on Jumia. Now, what this doesn't actually paint the full picture, because that's what these narratives do, is that how many of them are living at home with their parents, and how many of them have men behind it. Because the top people, even at OnlyFans, to what public knowledge is out there, they have a man behind them and helping them. So for the people that are doing this Instagram getting flued out thing, most of those women that are doing actually have money, and most of them don't. They're flat broke. They actually have a man supporting and behind them behind the scenes. But they give this narrative like, oh, it's the women doing these things. So then it leads the masses of women to do the following. Okay, let's take 100 people. Let's say 50% are men, 50% are women. What's happening typically? This even was in the US. Foundational Black American are very family oriented. That narrative is just untrue. Just very untrue. Even that video back then, they were trying to say that, and they were like, well, this is untrue, this is untrue. Yes, of course, it's all untrue. Why would you trust the same racist society to put out good information? Of course, they're always going to label you as negative. So they're going to take 50 people of women, 50 men, and how it goes now on the continent is you're going to stay at home most likely for a woman. So about 45 of those 50 will stay at home. The other 5 will go out and they might be by themselves or whatever. For the men, about, let's say, 25 of the 50 will stay at home, and mainly they staying at home because they really ain't got their stuff together like that, and they might stay at home because of that reason, not because they're staying at home. The women will be staying at home and basically until they get married, right? In many of those cases. Now, not every single one of these, because it's going to be one man that's going to have 3 or 4 or 5 and whatever women. That's just how those things go. Even in countries where polygamy is outlawed, that's the only reason it doesn't happen. That's the only reason it doesn't happen, is because it's outlawed. Because people are already operating that way. They just don't get married because it's outlawed. Except in the case of Warren Buffett, still being married to 2 women. But anyway, so you're going to take people living at home, and let's just do an even distribution. One person to one person, men and women. That is 50 apartments, 50 flats. It looks like people didn't like that one about polygamy, but that's just how it goes. The women just line up to the guys, and a lot of the men, most of the men, still will not have anybody with them. But you're going to have 50 apartments. But guess what? If you start promoting women or, hey, you're going to get empowered. You could do things on your own. You don't need a man. How come they never talk to men and say you don't need a woman? You notice that? Why is it positive that you don't need somebody else? And men and women, we're social creatures. We've built societies by essentially needing each other. But they tell you don't, quote, need a man. What's wrong with, quote, needing a man? Right? What's wrong with needing a man? Right? What's wrong with building up together? But they're going to pump up the egos, have echo chambers, pay people to put these things out as if they're true. And even these magazines have admitted it later that a lot of what they said wasn't true and they ruined everybody. But here's what's going to happen. You have 50 apartments. Guess what? The real estate industry is now going to boom. Why? And it's in their best interest. They want to be able to divide you up, not want to, but it's money. At the end of the day, like I said, if we look at obesity, I think it's particularly sad. But from the money aspect, you could sell them, and I still think the pharmaceuticals, most of them are BS, but you can still sell them and make money. It's about money. So now you're saying, hey, women, you could do it on your own. You are empowered. Guess what? Instead of 50 apartments, now you've increased that to 60. And so instead of 5 out of those 45 women are now going to be on their own, now it's going to be 10, 15, 20, or virtually all of them. So the men and the women are going to all be on their own because the continent is getting more money. So there's going to be less and less people staying at home now and earlier. So now, instead of the men and the women staying less at home and coming up, shacking up with each other, they're just going to be like, hey, I'm going to have an apartment by myself. I'm not going to have an apartment with my girlfriends, my brother, my cousins until I get married. I'm basically going to be shacking up by myself. I'm going to have myself in my own apartment. Do y'all get what I'm saying there? That's $1 million opportunity right there. That's $1 trillion opportunity, actually. But for the individual, that's $1 million opportunity. You start buying up this real estate. You buy up the flats because people are moving into cities too. You put your money together. Maybe you can't afford 20,000, but then you put 1,500 with some other people, or you find 19 other people and put 1,000, and you keep working at it, and you say, hey, I'm going to do this. I bought this land. Let's have some construction here. You're supporting the local economy, hiring people to do the brick building and everything like that. Now you have improved and renovated. That's the important thing, to renovate that stuff. People just leave it as it is. Then you can then charge, remember, as I said, now you can charge a certain price. People can come there. You're now building that up. This was a long version of that. Took me about 10 minutes to get into this. But that's what you can do. Anybody that's here right now, do you have any questions on anything that I just said, or maybe a comment? I'll leave that open for the next 2 minutes. If you have that, I know you guys are a little bit delayed, but we just went over that. That is when the gender divide comes in, and it's going to work for the benefit of a person that's looking to make money. Maybe you're not doing ads that are saying, hey, you be strong and independent. But if you notice them, hey, that's where the money's going. Hey, I still tell people, hey, you don't need to be wearing wigs, this fake up, these long eyelashes or whatever. And that's what I have for the women around me. I can't stop the overall industry. But guess what? You can shift that money towards you if you wanted to sell for it. Because there are people that don't support different things. What is that app that owns Grindr or something like that? They own a gay app and they have a straight app. It's a Chinese company that owns both of them. So they're targeting both. Now the owner said, hey, we don't support this stuff. But guess what? They're there to make some money. They said money is colorblind. So I'm not there promoting the market. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take advantage of the market that's already there. So this market is being created. Whereas when women get more money, they're going to start thinking like, hey, I need to do things on my own. Now, it might hurt them in the long run, many of them. But hey, and it might hurt some more of the men in the long run. And some of the men will do actions. Now, I'm focusing on the women here because this is what it comes from, right? First is the men and women shacked up. And now you got double the amount of apartments that you can rent out. That's money. You've doubled the market out of nowhere. You've created a market. So it looks like nobody's asked any questions. They don't have any comments. So it looks like I'm going to basically end it there with the exception of these two things right here. They said 7% of women-owned businesses received a loan from Jumia. Okay. Women vendors are more likely than men to use social commerce tools like WhatsApp, and this is where many women get their start selling online. Supporting women's transition to a platform with increased support can help them grow and formalize their business. That's what it's telling you. Now, it says training. Women are less likely than men to use advertising and other paid features that allow them to stand out in a crowded market, but they also value training more. Even when their self-reported skills match or exceed men's, platforms can recruit women by offering training on entrepreneurship and digital skills. Now, you do notice that there's a lot of stuff that's going out. Now, this doesn't just apply to the continent. This is just a general thing. But you notice there's a lot of women in business type of thing, and they say, come and join our seminar thing, and it's very geared toward there. This comes from right here. This is about money, y'all. So if you got an idea with that, you might, hey, you know what, women, get your license in dental healthcare or something like that. You might have your license in dental healthcare and you're doing training with that. Right? You're doing those things, but you got to make sure that things are correct. When you're marketing to women, you want to use softer colors, not the black and red that you use for men. It's just difference between how our eyes operate and how we're going to do it. So Now, I noticed that women would use less advertising. Why? Because quite frankly, they're getting more attention in general. That's just what happens. Of course, the men are doing more advertising. Why? Because men aren't getting the attention. You start wiggling something online and you put your ass out or your face in a smile or put something here and there, and then you can get attention. Now, if you're selling clothes and everything, okay, cool. Now they got these little video apps that will make a person look smaller than they are, which is sick, right? Just so they can sell and give an illusion that they're all fit and curved up, but they're not. So if they don't feel like they need, the women don't feel like they need to do the paid things. Now that can enhance what they're doing. The women are actually charging people. I've noticed that the women are charging people. Hey, we got a platform. We're going to charge you some money here. Right? We got a platform. We're going to charge you some money here. So if you guys like this, I want y'all to smash the like button. Share this with other people because we want to grow this. Go over to the Telegram group and I want y'all to join in on that. That's Let's Improve Africa. That's there. Let's Improve Africa. There's the link. And it's not just about Africa there, even though that's going to be the main focus, that in the United States. It's talking about these opportunities that we have. You can apply them everywhere. But Africa is growing more than other places. Okay, I want y'all to remember this. Africa's growing more than other places. I dropped the Telegram link earlier. Okay, I'm going to drop the Telegram link one more time right here. I'm going to drop the Telegram link one more time in the live chat right here. If you don't already see it, it's the link right there. I suggest that you join that Telegram link. So here's the last thing here. Now, there are 400 companies operating in Africa that earn annual revenue. I know that's not profit, but still revenue of over 1 billion US dollars, and 700 more companies that earn at least $500 million or more. Now, they said this is important. These companies grew faster than similar companies worldwide relative to both local currency and global profitability. Okay? So they grew faster. Smaller amount of money available, but you're dominating the market. You dominate the market. Look at Alibaba. They only sold to the Chinese, and yet Alibaba became the largest company on the planet. Like literally, I think the most employed people, whatever. I think Walmart at some point was. But it became so large, only selling to the Chinese at one point. Then he opened it up to, Jack Ma opened it up to other nations and other fronts. But he controlled the entire distribution just in China alone. Because it's so many people that were there. It's like, hey, I created billions of dollars by the local people here. So if you can also figure out, I'm going to go deep diving later on. I'm going to upload that video, unless you guys don't want me to. But I'm going to upload the video later on here that I went into more detail. That was about 70 minutes. This right here is 58 minutes. So I guess we're similar time. This one, I go line by line. We only made it up to page 10 because it was so heavy. We're going to do a part 2 and 3 on that. I didn't want it to last my normal 3 hours. So, guys, I will catch you all on the next one. Thank you guys for coming out on Head and Shoulders ATR. This is Let's Improve Africa. So, you guys check that out, and I'll catch you all.